Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us on this special day, an unofficial official release of this book. We're all going to be talking about women, work, and leadership, embracing courage and leading boldly from within. I'm your moderator, Claude Sharma, based right here in Sudbury, Ontario, and I do have the privilege today to chat about this book with several of the co-authors to explore what it takes to lead authentically in today's complex workplace from a woman's perspective, who all have a diverse cultural backgrounds and with very fascinating stories to tell, 8 stories in total in this book. So it's an anthology series compiled by Daisy Wright, who we will hear from first. And joining Daisy are 7 other co-authors. So at this time, let's please bring in all the co-authors who could make it out today for this official, unofficial release. So you will hear from Charity McDonald, Elizabeth Ainsworth, and Sweta Regmi quite shortly, and we will start off with Daisy Wright. But before getting into that, the format for this is quite simple. When you hear from these co-authors, they will introduce themselves. They'll give you a brief explanation of who they are, and then we will ask them some of the pressing questions, starting off with their chapter. And throughout the event, you might see a QR code that pops up in the top corner of your screen. If you see that, that's a great way to purchase the book if you haven't done so yet. And at the end of this event, if there is time, we will open it up to some Q&A from our audience, from the loyal listeners. So again, Women, Work, and Leadership, 126 pages in all, divided by 8 talented storytellers. So let's start with the architect, Daisy Wright. So Daisy, before getting into the questions, just please let the audience know who you are.
Hello, everybody. I am Daisy Wright, and as Claude said, I'm chief architect of this particular project, but I'm not a new author. I'm the author of No Canadian Experience A career survival guide for new immigrants. Other than that, I am an executive career coach where I help women, mid-career professionals, and emerging women leaders achieve career breakthroughs. And anything else you need to know about me, just hook me up on LinkedIn. Thank you, Claude.
No problem. So Daisy, your chapter, Own Your Voice, Building Confidence and Influence at Work. So we'll get to that in a second, but you are the one who helped bring this important collection together. And how come and why now?
How come and why now? First of all, I love writing. And I took a chance on writing the bestseller, No Canadian Experience A, which is a career success guide for new immigrants, as I mentioned in my introduction. But then during the COVID or just before COVID, I thought I could get a group of women to write another book because I love collaboration. I love collaborating with people and especially women. So we got together and we wrote 21 resilient women, stories of courage, growth, and transformation. And as you will notice, 4 of those co-authors collaborated with me on this one again. Now, in terms of, I've always wanted to write a book on women and work and leadership. And the same thing, I threw out the idea at my visioning event in January to just that small group. And again, I ended up with 8 women, 8 diverse women. And I do operate within that bubble of diversity because diversity, regardless of what people are saying now, diversity is our strength. And so it wasn't by design, but we ended up with a diverse group. And again, discussing how we are in the workplace, the strength that we bring, the fact that we are all leaders in our own right. And that's kind of how it came about, Claude.
So your chapter,
Mhm.
Own Your Voice, Building
Yes.
Confidence and Influence at Work. What is it all about?
Just as the title says, it's owning your voice. It's learning to speak up, even though sometimes it's difficult. Sometimes we want to say what we want to say, but we are literally silenced, or we because of social conditioning, we end up with that, oh, I'm not good enough, I can't say it, as well as I should, those kind of things. Or sometimes it's about it's like it's a way to protect ourselves from criticism, from being so something you'll read in the book is called the silencing loop. And what it is it's a way to protect ourselves. We kind of we perceive the risk of speaking up outweighs the risk of the risk of speaking up is, well, put it this way, it's a risk to speak up. And instead of speaking up, we become silent. And again, that's kind of based on social conditioning. And my aim really is to tell people, or to tell women generally, to you have something to say, you have value, say it, speak it. If you don't, somebody else will do it for you. And I've coached women who have, one woman I coached, she did the work. She looked on LinkedIn on her boss's profile, and everything that she had done was included in her boss's profile. So if she were claiming ownership of her work, that wouldn't have happened.
So I guess it's sort of related in your chapter. You mentioned like why women hold back. So is this part of the silencing loop? Is that what you mean? Is women holding back?
It's the whole bag. It's again, it's feeling insecure. It's feeling that what I say might not matter. It's feeling that I may say something, nobody responds, but somebody else, a man might say it, and wow, what a great point. And so we internalize those things, and we become silent, or we hold back when we do have our opinions matter. But again, and it ties right in again to social conditioning, and we need to get out of that space. We need to recognize not only ourselves as a group as women, but ourselves as individuals. Recognize that we do have value.
So the next question here, you mentioned quit playing small. You encourage women to quit playing small, and small actually being an acronym, SMALL. And you also mentioned too that leadership isn't always a rank. So are these tied together, or are these two different thoughts?
The last part you said, I mentioned that leadership
isn't always a rank.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Again, I am all about encouraging and inspiring women to be who they want to be. Right. And sometimes and I have this image that I use all the time. I use it in my coaching, where it's a picture of a cat looking in the mirror, and she sees this big lion. And it's a mindset kind of a thing to say, look in the mirror, here I am, as big as I think I am. And sometimes, again, because of what we have internalized, because we have heard time and again, no, you don't, you're not ready yet for a promotion, or because of sometimes, and we have to face facts, sometimes, Black women of color, sometimes we are just, for some reason, we're doing the work, doing it double, yet we are not moving up. We're not getting the promotion. And we tend to say, oh my goodness, what's wrong with me? And I'm here to say, listen, nothing is wrong with you. You're all right. You're enough. Just start believing in yourself, own your leadership skills, surround yourself with people who believe in you, who can inspire, who will support you. And just get rid of those if the concrete ceiling isn't opening up, think of ways that you can develop your own self and move on.
All right, and finally, so you're always busy, you're always in the move. So it seems like book after book. What are you working on now?
So thank you so much for asking me that question. And you're right. I'm always dabbling in many things. And one of the things I've done just recently, and it's going to happen soon, I have created an AI course. It's called AI Confidence for Women. And it's not teaching people how to use AI in terms of how to prompt or anything. It's really saying, listen, get into this space. We are being left behind, and if we are not there at the table, then technology decisions are going to be made, and we won't be there. So get involved, at least educate yourself on the advantages, the pros and cons of AI, and make sure that you're at the table. So very soon, closer to the end of the month, that course will be out. And if people need additional information about that, just check with me. Mhm.
All right, thank you so much for your time, Daisy Wright, the architect of Women Work in Leadership, and her chapter is Own Your Voice, Building Confidence and Influence at Work. And she mentioned it. If you want to connect with Daisy, you can do so on LinkedIn. I did. It was pretty easy. So thank you so much, Daisy.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for being an ally of women.
Of course. Thank you for having me here. So we are going to move on next to our next author, Elizabeth Ainsworth, and she wrote The Leader Within: How Motherhood, Purpose, and Growth Shaped My Approach to Leading with Integrity. So again, the simple format. Elizabeth, welcome. Thanks for joining us. And before we get into the question, just give us a little brief introduction about yourself and who you are.
Thank you, Claude. So Claude already said my name. So my background is IT service management. I've been in this profession for over 20 years. And this year I wrote a book. It's called I Am Unshaken, that was released in September. And now I'm part of this anthology project with Daisy, Women Work and Leadership. So outside of that, I'm the founder of Esmin's Curry Powder. It is my family recipe. It's a generational recipe that was given to us by my great-grandmother. And I wanted to sustain our legacy. So I founded this company in 2021. And lastly, I started this nonprofit organization called elevateyou.me. Check it out if you have some time. And I just wanted to say, Daisy talked about that AI course. I'm launching a course this month, the third week in November. It's called Create and Elevate, and it's through this platform, elevateyou.me. So check it out. You can connect with me on LinkedIn to learn more about that course. It's called Create and Elevate the Extraordinary Experience.
All right, looking forward to that. So your piece is titled Leader Within: How Motherhood, Purpose, and Growth Shaped My Approach to Leading with Integrity. How would you summarize the leader within?
Okay, so the leader within is really about discovering that leadership isn't a title. It is a reflection of who you are at your core. So for me, it is the blend of motherhood, purpose, and growth that shaped how I lead. Motherhood taught me empathy, patience, and the power of seeing potential in others. And it is still teaching me a lot. My children are now young adults. And then purpose gave me the direction, something bigger than me, or bigger than the job itself. And growth reminded me that leadership is a journey of constant becoming. So leading with integrity for me means showing up with honesty, compassion, and alignment between what I believe and what I do. It's about creating spaces, whether at home, in the workplace, or in the community, where others feel seen, supported, and empowered to lead from within too. Yeah, that's what.
All right, so fantastic. So in this book, you say real leadership doesn't begin in the boardroom. It begins in the soul, which is quite prophetic. So what does that mean to you?
Yes. So for me, leadership has always been deeply personal. It is not about titles or position. It is about who you are when no one is watching. True leadership begins with self-awareness and alignment, knowing your values, your intentions, and leading from that place of truth. When you are grounded in who you are, your leadership naturally extends to how you influence others, not by force, but by presence.
So one thing I really want to talk about is your comparison between big energy versus small energy. It seems like it's a simple concept, just reading it at face value, but it digs deeper than that. So can you share exactly what that means and how leaders can cultivate big energy?
Yes, yes. So, big energy is the kind of presence that fills a room with calm and clarity. It's rooted in self awareness and humility. So, leaders with big energy, they don't compete, they create space for others to rise. They lead from confidence, not comparison. With big energy, you cultivate that energy by doing the inner work. You're healing, you're reflecting, and grounding yourself daily. When your leadership comes from within, you don't need to prove your power. Your present will say it all. So that's, for me, that's big energy. And then small energy would be the opposite.
Right.
Yeah.
So two other words, not big energy or small energy, but clarity and effort. You talk about that quite a bit. So why are those qualities so essential in leadership?
Clarity gives you direction. It is the why behind everything you do. Effort turns that clarity into reality. So when you are clear, you stop chasing what isn't for you, and you start aligning your time, your energy, and attention with what truly matters, with what you really want to do. And then effort is that daily commitment. You show up with consistency. Some days your tank is 100% full. Some days it's 80%. Some days it's 20%. But here's the thing: consistency. If you keep going, 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 even on the hard days, you still show up. So leadership isn't about perfection. It's about presence, and I'll say this again. It's about presence, discipline, and faith. Having faith in the process, believing in yourself, and believing that you can influence others.
You also describe motherhood as your first and most profound leadership role. And just seeing you smile there, it really resonates with you. So how did that shape the way you lead?
Ooh, motherhood. And I think, I'm still learning. So motherhood was my greatest leadership training ground. I mentioned earlier, my kids are young adults now, and I'm still learning. What this taught, it taught me that leadership isn't about control. It's about influence, patience, and consistency. Raising my children reminded me that people don't follow what you say, they follow what you model. It called me to lead with empathy, honesty, and grace, not only for them, but for myself. That same approach now shapes how I lead teams and nurture others with compassion and intention.
All right, so Elizabeth, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. One of the co-authors for Women, Work, and Leadership, Embracing Courage and Leading Boldly from Within. And for those who are interested in purchasing the book, if you look at the top left part of your screen, you see a QR code, which will direct you to an Amazon page where you can purchase the book, just like I did. And it's worth the read, let me tell you that. So again, Elizabeth, thank you so much. And we're going to be moving on next to Charity McDonald. And we just want to say thank you to a lot of the people making comments. We got a nice comment from Freddie, from Sierra, from Samira, and Alicia. So keep those comments
Hey, Charity, can you hear me at all? It looks like we lost Claude due to the connection. So yeah, I'm going to carry from here. Why don't you tell me about your story? What's your chapter name? And then what do you want the viewers to walk away with it?
Yeah, so thank you. I'm able to hear it. And yes, it is the title of my chapter is No Matter What, Keep Your Crown, Lessons on Self-Leadership. So a bit about me, just really quickly. So I'm the founder of Crown Institute. So I help high achieving leaders become big receivers without burnout. So I support people in career development, branding. I help businesses as well with their branding and with leadership strategy. So I'm grateful for the opportunity to be here. And the takeaway from my chapter is about learning how to own your crown. So it definitely echoes some of the sentiments that were shared earlier by Daisy and Elizabeth as well. It is focused on the crown framework. So I talk about my own personal journey. I also discuss the ways I'm able to support my clients with the crown framework.
That's amazing. So what does it look like in terms of crown framework? Like, can you walk us through in less than 1 minute at all?
Yeah, sure. So the details of the framework are actually in the book. So I would like for people to purchase the book to see how it actually like enacts in terms of the action pieces. But the core essence of the Crown framework is there's five elements. So it's conviction, recognition, opportunity, worth, and network. So we're going through how can we stand in our convictions as opposed to coming at things with confusion. And then with recognition, how can we honor recognition as opposed to rumination of, disappointments not being where we feel we should be. Opportunity, the focus on that is how can we make the obstacles we face opportunity. And worth is about learning how to honor who you are and not really so much focus on your value coming from work, but worth coming from within, and then moving from that space of abundance. And then the network piece is about just understanding the importance of the people that are around you so that you can make better choices, and that can improve your net worth depending on how far you cast your net or how deeply.
All right, Claude, you're back. Thank you. I think it was a connection issue, so I just took it on the stage. So take it away from here. I'm going to be backstage, okay? Can you hear me?
Yeah, my apologies. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, perfect. I'll be backstage, and then you can continue with the question. I asked her, she introduced herself, and I asked her about the crown and, what does that mean? And she said, people need to buy that book to read it. So perfect answer there. So Claude, take it away. Claude, I take it away from here, okay?
The work internet just cut out, so I'm on my cell phone, how to do plan B. All right, so my apologies, Charity, and my apologies to the audience. I guess these kind of things happen when you go live. All right, so I read the chapter. You shared your crown framework and how it helped you and others. So describe a recent time when you were reminded to keep your crown.
Yes, I think this is always happening. So there have been times where I basically, in even this process actually of putting the book together, where there was some reluctance and doubts, whether that was internal or there kind of being, lack of support around the concept of joining the book as a collaborator. I don't want to assume, but I think I'm probably one of the younger collaborators in the book. And I was the last person actually invited to be part of it. So, and my chapter is the final chapter in the book. So I found that very interesting because it's the 8th chapter, and 8 is my favorite number. So I felt like, wow, I need to remember to keep my own crown when it comes to understanding, ownership of the things that I have accomplished. And even though there's definitely more to be achieved, right? But I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be part of the book as well. Because I thought of it as like, okay, when most people think of leadership, they think of it in terms of you have a very prestigious title, you're someone that is an executive role or a C-suite role. And I've supported people at those levels. But the true leader is to both the points of Elizabeth and Daisy. It is about coming from within, and it's from a place of presence and not position. So that's what I wanted to honor. And that was the time I had to keep my crown, was in the earlier stages of being invited to participate in the book, which was earlier in the year, and then making the decision to commit to it, because this is my first time writing, having published work.
So of the 5 letters, CROWN, you say N. Network is the secret sauce of Crown. Can you elaborate?
Yeah, secret sauce. So what I will say is that's in relation to those who are looking to position themselves for opportunities for professional growth. As far as, the secret sauce, I really think all of the parts are necessary. All of the parts of the crown are necessary. It's a cyclical process. It's not linear, but people are the core of what would present opportunities. So that gives you the opportunity to show or exemplify that you have power. It is coming internally first, but the people would be what shows you the manifestation of it being external. So when you're able to connect with people who are decision makers, connect with people who are movers and shakers, like Daisy Wright for inviting me to be part of the book, right? When I'm able to, or the people I'm supporting are able to connect with people in a position that can change their outcomes and to help them to further reach their goals when they're first coming from a place of value. That's really what the networking piece was about.
And you mentioned that self-leadership is not perfection, it is consistency, and your ability to lead yourself determines your legacy. Can you unpack these statements? What do you mean by that?
Yeah, so the whole thing is, I think when people think of self-leadership, I don't even know if people think of self-leadership because that term is not as common. I think people are more familiar with other terms that are similar, like self-determination, self-discipline, self-advocacy, reliance, and things of that nature. But self-leadership is learning how to actually lead yourself. So how can you truly lead from a place of power and expect other people to follow you, but you're not able to do that for yourself? So true servant leadership, transformational leadership, it starts from the place that you're at. You're only able to support people right from the place that you're starting at yourself. So what I was trying to say is you're being persistent. Obviously, self-leadership, there's no like straight, easy path that you can just go quickly to have resolution very quickly. That's not always going to be the case. So it's more about being persistent with the actions that are being taken. And I do go through that in more detail in the book.
So what is the biggest lesson you want your readers to learn from in your chapter, and why?
Yes, it's so important that people understand. I start my chapter off a little traumatic because those were my personal real life experiences. They're not exaggerations. I start the chapter off regarding my own hospitalization and experiencing layoff and all these other different dramatic things that kind of happened, a series of unfortunate events, right? But the purpose of the chapter is to kind of echo that we can start from a place of there can be obstacles, but we can also find the opportunity. That's the whole point of the Crown framework. We can start from a place, even if it's traumatic and, unfortunate, to a place of triumph. And I think that was the point that I wanted people to understand. And it's very imperative to understand the importance of that now more than ever, because we're in a very unique situation where we don't know exactly what will happen. There's so many changes in the world. So with the economy, with changes in technology, with changes in leadership, if you will, all of those things impact how things go. And we are in a really massive changes taking place in the world, not just where I am in the States, but all over the world. So I wanted people to understand that you are able to get to the other side. And the goal of the book wasn't just to be like another tips and tricks book of how to be a leader, how to be a leader as a woman, but how to transform from where you are to where you would like to go.
Well, Charity, thank you so much. You really did a good job of selling people to go buy the book. Get nice little teases and along the way to see the entire Crown framework. And I know we have some people in the chat who said they've already bought the book several times. And if you want to buy the book, if you want to hear about the Crown framework, just click on the QR code in the top left of your corner. So, Charity, thank you so much. She wrote, "No matter what, keep your crown, lessons of self-leadership. So
Thank you
take
so
care,
much.
Charity, and we're going to be moving on next to one of the other co-authors who's pulling double duty. She's the one, but I guess triple duty. She's doing some of the audiovisual, and she overtook my job as the moderator when I had a brief glitch. So welcome in at this time, Sweta Regmi, The Invisible Penalty, Career Ambition, and the Maternity Gap. That is her chapter. But before we get into that, let's learn more about Sweta.
Yeah, thank you for asking. Well, hi everyone. This is Sweta Regmi joining you live from Sudbury, Ontario. And I think I lost Claude again, so I'm not sure because I can't see his face. Okay, you're there. Perfect. Don't do that to me. I'm the last one here. All right. So you know what? I'm a founder and CEO at Teach and Do, where I teach do's and don'ts to career professionals. I work very specifically with the newcomers to Canada and immigrants who are underprivileged. And I do that by advocating for themselves, building the personal brand, and you can have that six-figure career. And that's all about me.
All right. So you're the final co-author we are speaking with today. Your section is titled The Invisible Penalty, Career Ambition, and the Maternity Gap. So what can you tell us about your chapter?
Absolutely. So this chapter is really about my lived experience and what I've seen in the industry coming from the culture. I'm South Asian and I see a lot of biases and judgment and obviously the cultural upbringing aspect for it. And how does that translate into the workflow for us as someone who goes away in a mat leave? How does it start? The self-doubt starts. How do people question about your career ambitions? Is it too much when you become a mother? Are you supposed to just have a boundaries? Is this you're not team player? I talk about all those biases are happening inside our own home, our community, our society for mothers, and also how the onboardings are happening in the workplace with one size fits all aspect to it. And also I talk about how leaders are probably not equipped to lead the mother starting from, because we have, for those of you who are watching globally, we have 1 year of maternity leave in Canada that you can take it. And now it's been almost 18 months as well. People have that option to extend it up to 18 months. And you know what? People don't realize in a very fast environment, the system could change, your boss could change, the layoffs are happening, and there's a return to work and whatnot, hybrid schedule. How do you accommodate these new mothers? And plus, do you question their career ambitions, right? So I've been on the other side as well, leading the team, and I've had my own biases and judgment, and maybe I should have led it differently. I started to compare my journey, and that happens. If I could do it, why can't she do it, right? I think as a leader, leading the women who are coming back to the work and then who are going through that, the hormone change and emotional changes and work-life balance, and to settle it, we need to have a very smooth transitions, and that may not work for everybody. And this is what the environments are being created by the workplace, where people are putting onboarding together with a checklist. And I talk about it. How do you do these smooth transitions on this book by giving them the checklist as someone who's coming back to work, also who wants that next promotions? How do you have the conversation with the boss? How do you not, have that self-doubt? Am I ready for that next promotions? And how do you not just have that biases about yourself and comparing yourself with, look, I've been away for 1 year and maybe I need to do I need to go back and then build a personal branding from scratch. And that question often comes in. I'm not ready for that next promotions. Who am I? They don't know anything about me. You tend to forget everything about yourself. So I cover that with the 30 days, 60 days, and 90 days in my book, where you as a woman coming back, you should apply for that promotion if you think you're qualified for it, right? And then also the leaders, you should never question a woman when they're ready for promotions just because they took mat leave, right? So those are the issues I tackle it. And then obviously, mainly people of color, how they don't have a privilege to advocate for themselves. I tackle it. And how did I do that? How did I get promotions right after mat leave as well? And I spoke up, and there were some allies who actually, looked forward to working with me as well, despite of having that gap. So I tackled that issues, ongoing issues that nobody talks about. There's a motherhood penalty, whether people think it through or not right now, but it's happening in the workplace. It's happening in our society. It's happening in the community that we're going in. And that's what the book is all about.
So the motherhood penalty you just mentioned, the invisible penalty, they both sound quite harsh, but in fact, it's a reality many women face. So you have two children. You went through two parental leaves. Did you learn anything between parental leave 1 and 2?
Oh my God, that's such a great question, Claude. Absolutely. The first maternity leave, I did not know how do I transition back, even though I had a very supportive environment at the work at that time, because when I went back, everyone was there. They knew me. I already had a personal branding. I already had a stat. They already knew about me. And but still, I felt that emotions of, because I worked in the very fast-paced environment where I had to take the shift work. I'd be working night shift. I'd be working on weekends. I'd be working on stat holiday. The reason being is the schedule were always about the seniority, right? So I was not that senior leading a team. So I had to start from, the crappy shift, let's say. As a new mother, I want to be with my baby at nighttime, right? But I did not speak up for myself because that was the norm, and that was taken that, hey, you come back, you don't have a seniority, you are not going to ask anything. They don't say that. It's unspoken, expectations. And I would be traveling, in a weekends and after work, because it's just unspoken biases, right? So I dealt with that. And then second maternity leave, I really thought about it. Okay, you know what? I think this time I'm going to be different. I'm going to speak up for myself. I'm going to feel that promotion is for me. I'm not going to compare myself with the generations after generations or the newbies, right? So it taught me so much about myself from the first one, because I had a girl first time and a boy first time, and second time I had a girl. So I think there's obviously so many things that we go through from the first stage to the second stage as a parent, as someone. I was very ambitious, and obviously I was judged. It's like, is it your career? Is it your kids? Like, why are you traveling? The thing, like, no one's going to ask the men who is watching your kid when you're traveling. But for me, it was a norm. Who's watching your kid when you're traveling? Hello? Are you going to ask the same question to my husband, right? Things like that. There's a biases and judgment for the woman who wants to be ambitious, apply for that promotions, go travel around and do it. So I've learned so much to advocate from first mat leave that I had no idea how to advocate for myself, to the second one where I'm going to do this for myself. And that helped me out a lot by advocating. And I'm going to tell you this. It came definitely with a privilege, right? Because I was leading a team, I had a fancy title, and that meant a lot, because now I can advocate for me, for my team, because leadership now, I talk about it, it's not about fancy title. It's about, you have a privilege. Can you advocate for people? Does people have to ask for accommodations? No, don't wait for it. Do it for them, because you are privileged enough to do that. That's what I learned on the second mat leave.
Fair enough. So, like all the other co-authors, at the end of each chapter, I know you talked a little bit about it with a 30-day, 60-day, there's kind of like a reflection piece, a call to action, a to-do list, a journey worth embarking on. So yours might be the most detailed of all. So after reading your piece, what are you encouraging readers to do?
I really want people to think about it is, whether you're women coming back from a mat leave, don't question that career break. You're ready for that next promotion if you're qualified for it. Don't compare your journey with somebody else. And there's no one size fits all for managing emotions, managing your hormones, managing your timeline, and then climbing up the ladder. And it's okay if you're not ambitious enough. It's okay not to apply for promotion. It's okay to have that work-life balance, right? You do you. And then for the leaders who are leading the women, they don't have to ask for accommodations, right? So you have to practice that culture of, from the executive level, it's 3:00. I'm going to go pick up my son right now, daughter right now. They should all normalize this part of conversation at work. My son is sick. I'm going to go have an appointment right now, right? I'm going to stay home today, not coming to work because my kids are sick. That's a part of being a parent. So why are we judging it? When the executive and people at the top are not talking about it's okay to leave early. It's okay to take a time off in summer, right? It's okay to spend time with the family. Then that trickles down, and that makes it feel to the employee, it's a guilt trip. Oh, the person is actually, working late night. I should be here too, right? And I can do that because I'm seeing the people up there are not practicing that. So I think the lesson that I want people to walk away from this by looking at this book is reading for it is whether you are dealing with someone who's going through this, right? Coming back from mat leave, when people have kids and stuff like that, have that part of culture where it's okay, normalizing, talking about it, having the mentorship within dedicated group, right? And we don't have that in workplace right now. We don't even have a standard onboarding, things for mothers, new mothers, and don't even talk about promotions. It's not going to come in. They're like, you're not ready yet. You just took a mat leave, right? Normalize that, having conversation of it. You don't have to prove it. And I'd like to leave with one note from my chapter where there was the female report in 2024. I was shocked, Claude, shocked the way that I was feeling this. Nearly half, 49% said the most challenging part was feeling like they had to prove their worth all over again. 1/3 lost confidence, more than a third fear being sidelined, and almost half believe that a proper transitions and communication plan would have made the difference. Now tell me about that. The data do not lie. So we have a problem. How we fix it is by reading this book by each and every woman. It flows nicely, how to lead, and then how to lead the people who are coming back from mat leave. How do you not question their ambitions, and how do you get them promoted? By being an advocate in our allies, just like you came in today and you bought the book. We didn't have to ask for it, right? You bought it. You said, I'm going to lead this. I'm going to moderate it. So we thank you so much. And you are allies, and we need men like that. And this is exactly why you're here today. And we really appreciate you.
Well, thank you so much, Sweta. I really appreciate it, and just reaching out and even thinking about me. It's quite flattering, and it means a lot. So that does it for the panel discussion. So that was Sweta Regmi, The Invisible Penalty, Career Ambition, and the Maternity Gap. So before we thank our viewers, do we want to go to a Q&A format? Do you want to call it a show? It's up to you, Sweta. And
I don't think there's any questions. Do you see any questions at all that we should take it on? So I'm going to put, that's us. That's Christine right there. Thank you so much. Is there anything? There's no questions in there.
Definitely some great comments indeed. And how can people, I know we mentioned LinkedIn, how can people, aside from buying the book, going in the top left corner and scanning that QR code, are you all kind of on the same page when it comes for the audience to connect with you all, to connect with you on LinkedIn?
Yes. LinkedIn is fine.
LinkedIn is fine. All right. So for maybe there are people who aren't watching it live and will want to watch it later, will you be putting this on LinkedIn or any other channels?
Yes, the replay is available on LinkedIn. People can watch it. Also, we have it on YouTube channel as well, Teach and Do. You can go ahead and subscribe there to watch it right there. It's right now streaming live, and you can also have a replay right there. So subscribe to that. And there you go. And let us know. Reach out to us and say you bought the book and what resonated with you, because each stories are different. So obviously it's going to resonate with you where you are in your life. Please reach out to us with the feedback. We would love to know more about it.
All right. Yeah. Show the book. Does anybody have any final comments before we call this a show?
Sure. Thank you for doing this. I appreciate it. My hope is that everyone listening remembers that you don't need a title to lead. Start where you are with clarity, compassion, and courage. That's my final word.
Yes, well, I'll just end with the quote that starts my chapter, and it says, "Lead from where you are. No one has to tap you on the shoulder and anoint you a leader. Leadership is noticing the gap and stepping in to do something about it." So with that, I want to thank you, Claude, again for, being our co-host today, and to encourage women, first of all, that with the Kindle version of the book is available for free until tomorrow. So make sure you grab your copy. Make sure you give us a review. And I'm telling you, it's a wealth of information that's contained in this book. And the great part of it are the reflective activities after each chapter. So it's not a book that you should just read and leave on its own. There are lessons to be learned to help you to grow your leadership path. So thanks again.
And finally, Charity.
Yes, I just want to echo with what Daisy said. The ebook is available, and people are able to actually download the ebook. There is no charge. The other element is that I wanted to end with my chapter quote as well. So it comes from Maya Angelou, and the chapter, it says, "Your crown has been bought and paid for. Put it on your head and wear it." So your crown has been bought, which means that you already are someone who is in the opportunity to have authority and alignment for what it is that you desire to have in your professional and personal endeavors. And thank you so much for the moderation, Claude. I really appreciate you, and Sweta as well, for putting this together. And I learned so much hearing from the ladies. We didn't see what each other wrote, but there's definitely echoes of great, valuable content. And I love the action steps at the end of each chapter. Very valuable.
Yeah, thank you so much for that, Charity. Appreciate it. Yeah, and thank you, Sweta, for stepping in. I'm sure you did
I think we lost him again. It's okay. So we're gonna wrap it up. I guess I have to wrap this up, right? Claude's just left. He's done amazing work for us, and thank you so much for coming in and joining in. And we'll just go and wrap it up and make sure that you all order the book right now. Each chapter is amazing, cater to your needs, and you know what? It's not a chapter. It's a story of people going through the same stage. And Claude is back. Claude is back here. So, so we lost you again.
Okay,
We're gonna.
Yeah, so I just want to say thank you, and yeah, we're gonna wrap it up. Thanks everybody. Thanks to the co-authors for Women, Work, and Leadership: Embracing Change and Leading Boldly from Within. If you haven't got your copy yet, you can do so in the top left of the screen. Scan the QR code, and you will hear all the great stories from these inspirational women. So thank you so much, everybody, and we hope you enjoy the book.